Hey there, emerging expat. You're tuned in to Let's Move to Portugal. I'm Victoria from Expats Everywhere's podcast, and I have the distinct honor of bringing you, YouTube travelers, and our resident of Portugal experts, Expats Everywhere's Josh and Kaylee. Each week they'll inspire, they'll educate, and they'll accompany you on your journey to Portuguese residency. This week on Let's Move to Portugal, Kimberly Anne shares her journey as an expat in Portugal on a budget and the financial realities of living abroad. To keep this podcast going strong, we've included a few brief ads. Thanks for supporting us by listening.
We're very happy that Savvy Cat Realty wanted to support us and sponsor the podcast, as we're actually clients of theirs.
When we started our journey to purchase our property in Portugal back in 2022, they came right alongside us in the process.
Savvy Cat Realty provides a highly tailored service to supporting those relocating to Portugal. Their mission is to find you the best match in continental Portugal. Their local experts will guide you through the whole process, keeping sustainability for both sides.
They have a full local team, including agents, lawyers, and engineers, making sure you are safe. And as locals, they believe fair prices are good for both sides.
And Savvy Cat Realty works with both rentals and purchases with budgets from $50K to millions, always making sure it's worth the cost.
Book a free call at savvycatrealty.com and have them on your side planning your move to Portugal.
Hey, expats and travelers alike, welcome back to Expats Everywhere Presents Let's Move to Portugal podcast. Kaylee, how you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I am doing really well. Got some family in town, actually leaving today and then leaving on Friday.
Oh,
and then that'll be it. That'll be the last of the run of all the visitors that we've had.
That's not true. We have more coming in November.
I was going to say for the month.
Okay. Okay. Well, you got me there. That is true.
Yeah.
But then we have more coming in November. Ooh,
Yes.
But those will be friends. So that'll be fun.
Yeah. You saying family aren't friends?
Well, it's a little different.
Is it? Okay. So we've got quite a bit to give a rundown on, and we thank you for hanging in there. So in this podcast today, we talked to an expat who is on a budget. She runs a Substack, Expat on a Budget, and then also has a YouTube channel. We Kaylee did an interview
With her.
For her channel, and then, reciprocal, we had her on ours, which you're going to listen to today. But to get you caught up in this weekly welcome portion of the episode, we need to talk a little bit about what's happening in Portuguese immigration.
Oh, gosh.
All of the shenanigans that kind of have happened in the past week or so. There's news that's going to happen today. We're recording on a Monday, which will, I'm sure, come out tomorrow if anything has broken.
Yes, because Parliament was meeting today.
Yeah. So
meeting right now.
We have exactly like we have a day delay in between when some news can come out and then when this actually gets published. Right. So it's a little tricky.
But here's the big thing. So I've been speaking with our lawyer, and we've been talking. When it actually breaks, we will do a video to go on the main channel. So if there is news to be broken, because like right now, if you look at all the articles, it seems like they're trying to break the news, but there is no news yet. That's all the talk about the citizenship. Now, I will say this. What did happen was all the stuff that was went through Parliament in July, which I think we already talked about this, but I'll just do a quick recap.
Yes.
In July.
It could be someone's first time listening to us.
Right. So in July, Parliament met and they talked about something that was not citizenship. They talked a lot more about like the D6, the family reunification, and some other visas and immigration stuff, but the citizenship part was not actually on there. Mm-hmm. Then that was right before they went on recess. It got kicked over to the president. The president took a look. He said, I don't know about some of this stuff. I need to send it over to the Constitutional Court. So all this went through this process. The Constitutional Court sent it back because there were a few things in there that they said were unconstitutional. So that goes to the president, and the president sends it back to Parliament and says you need to re-vote on these things because some of it's unconstitutional. So then when they came back from recess in September, they took a look at that first, and that has been passed. So they changed a few things. They sent it to the president. The president at this time did not send it to the Constitutional Court. The president signed off on it, and then it got published in the Gazette, which is what officially puts into law. So I want to say it was last week was the day that it actually went into effect. I'm pretty sure it was last week. So that is the stuff that happened in July.
And that doesn't affect the majority of people that listen to us on a regular basis.
Yes, because we did a podcast with our lawyer Diogo, and he breaks things down. But a lot of it with family reunification, it might scare you, but it's more so when you do family reunification, if the main applicant comes here, starts working, and then they want to bring their family. If you are in your home country and you're planning to do the G7 or G8, let's say, for example, and then your spouse or partner and kids or so on, dependents, are coming in on the D6 and you're coming in kind of like a family package, this does not affect you. So we talk about it is the D6, but it's not everything around the D6. So mostly it won't affect you. So I won't have to worry about that.
Correct.
Then what's happening now is all the news articles are talking about the citizenship thing as if it's already done, dusted, passed, gone through everything. And it hasn't gone through this whole process that it has to go through.
I'm super disappointed in Forbes. So someone over the weekend sent me an article that Forbes put out, and the way they worded it, those wordsmiths over at Forbes, they made it sound like it's a done deal. And I hate that because like there are major news outlets that publish things and people take it as like honest truth. And I don't know if it's like wanting to be the first to break some news, but it's not news because it's not published in law, or they just don't understand what actually happened.
Right. Yeah, which could be the case because they're so busy trying to quote unquote break the news everywhere in the world that you could get it wrong. Because just because Parliament votes on something doesn't mean it's passed yet.
Correct.
It might be going into a bill. It might be separating from a bill. It has to go to the president. The president has to sign off on it, and then it has to get published, and that's when it goes into effect. And the president, just like what happened in July, could send it to the constitutional courts if he finds that there's something that could potentially be unconstitutional in there. So it has to go through this process. And as of today, when we're recording on Monday, Parliament's meeting. So there's nothing that they have actually passed on to the president yet. So nothing has quite happened. But here's what I'll say. If you're interested in this, then check our channel on Saturday, because if something actually did happen today and tomorrow continues and there is news it's actually going into effect, then we will be putting a video out this Saturday on Expats Everywhere, the main channel, the YouTube channel.
About what really happened.
What is actually happening and how it will affect you.
Okay. So moving past immigration stuff, we did a video with someone who moved to Porto and then has decided to leave Porto and go somewhere else. There was a bit of confusion about like, but where did she go? She spoke about why she went there, but it was kind of hidden in layers. She ended up moving to Esmerish. I don't know exactly how to pronounce it. Esmerish.
I'm not going to try.
Thank you.
What he said.
So just south of Espinho is where she moved to. So it's in the Aveiro region, but it's quite close to Porto. I mean, it's like 30 minutes by train. Train, not metro.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it was really good in that regard to hear someone's perspective of why they moved, and then why they moved to Portugal, and then why they left Porto and went somewhere else. Because funny enough, a couple that we know that has moved to Espinho has now moved to Porto.
Yep. Because they felt like
we didn't do an interview with them, but we did an interview when they were living in Espinho.
Yeah, that's true. Because they felt like it was a little too small and too
Let's
sleepy.
link that actually. So we're going to link that in the description section or show notes of this, so you can check those two videos out if you want to, so you can kind of see why they've kind of traded places a little bit.
I think this just goes to show that you can do a lot of research. You can listen to podcasts, you can watch videos, you can read blogs, but it really depends on you coming here and getting a feel for yourself and what works for you and for your lifestyle. So that's why I think when you do move, it's good to rent it first, because then you get a feel for a certain place. And it's not that you don't like that place, but maybe you find another place that you like better before you want to buy. So if you want to have a bit of a soft landing, like Amber talks about in the video that we just put out, they always knew that was Porto. They like Porto, but they did feel like it was big, right? So how is that going to affect them once they actually move here? Because when you travel and visit a place, it is different than when you actually move.
Yes. Okay. Major milestone that's happened. This podcast in its audio form has reached 100,000 downloads.
Woo-hoo!
So thank you so much
guys.
for everyone, to everyone that has downloaded the episodes. Let's keep doing it. Let's get to 1 million. Let's go. So 10% of the way there. Well done. And then let's move on to what the episode's about with Kimberly Anne.
Kimberly Anne. She has a fun personality.
Yes. She is very open to just speaking real and sharing her experiences in Portugal. We dive pretty deep into her actual cost of living because I realized like we hadn't done that in a while. And since she is expat on a budget and she's more budget conscientious and goes through kind of what she was doing back in the US, trying to stay on a budget and the lifestyle she was living, and then how that translates to the lifestyle she lives in Portugal and in the Porto area. It was a very cool kind of conversation to have, but it goes beyond just talking about like cost of living stuff.
Oh, good. Should we get to it then?
Let's do it.
All right.
We know that relocating can be stressful. Trust us, Portugal is the 5th country we've relocated to.
So it's nice to have someone helping you out, which is why we can confidently recommend Global International Relocation, which is a leading provider of relocation, moving, and mobility services.
They can support individuals, families, and even businesses when it comes to moving internationally.
I like how they're able to simplify the relocation process, and they help with everything you can think of, and actually even those things that you don't think of.
Of course, you have the immigration side of things, but there are aspects like pet relocation, shipping your car, moving household goods, and settling in that are all things they assist with. They're really comprehensive when it comes to mobility.
With over 17 years of experience and having expertise in over 180 countries, they aren't just for your move to Portugal.
So for personalized assistance, visit global.pt or get in touch with us for an introduction and to receive a personalized relocation quote. One of the most important pre-move things to consider involves your finances. Here's the cool thing. If you've moved already, it's not too late.
Yeah, that's right, because we met John a little late in our journey, but he certainly helped us make sure that we're on the right track.
John McNerney from Green Ocean Advisors is an American living in Lisbon with an office in San Francisco, which helps him have a pulse on both sides of the pond. John helps people understand where they're at before they take the plunge and move abroad.
As a financial advisor, John can help you understand your financial position no matter what stage of life you're in, whether you're curious about what your realistic retirement date is or how to invest your money post-retirement.
His love for finance and the differences between US and Europe have given him the ability to guide his clients in the right direction when it comes to investing and allocating funds. For example, you might want to sell your house before you become a tax resident here in Portugal, so you're not paying additional taxes here.
Josh and I have even talked to him on several occasions about some major life events that have happened to us and how to navigate them smartly from a financial perspective. If you'd like to be put in touch with John from Green Ocean Global, click on his Calendly link below to schedule a free consultation that he provides our viewers to see if he's the right fit for you.
Just make sure that you choose the Expats Everywhere intro call for your free consultation. Well, Kimberly Anne, welcome to the podcast. I'm glad to have you on here because you're an expat on a budget. So we get to talk a little bit about what it's like moving to a foreign country, keeping costs in mind. And I hope you're up for sharing some of that stuff with our audience today. Thank you so much for joining us. If you could tell us a little about yourself.
All right. Well, thank you for having me. And yeah, I'm Kimberly Anne, obviously. I moved to Portugal in 2022 by myself. I had never visited before moving here, and I didn't have a support group and I didn't know anybody, but I had watched a bunch of your videos. So I felt like at least I had some semblance of an idea of what I was getting myself into.
Did we give a fair reflection of what it's like? I hope.
Yeah, I watched a lot of videos about different areas in Portugal.
Yep.
So I like that you visit different areas, and I was able to learn more about, I had on my list Braga, Coimbra, Porto, basically. So yeah, it was helpful, very helpful.
Nice, very cool. And actually this coming Saturday, we have a Caldas de Rainha. So by the time people are listening to this, Caldas de Rainha City Guide will come out. And that's been a place that many people have moved to over the years. It's a place that took us forever to finally get a city guide out about, although we visited a couple times. So you said Braga, Coimbra, and Porto in mind. What kind of drew you to this part of Portugal? I think most people tend to look at Lisbon and south. So what took you kind of central north?
Yeah. So in retrospect, maybe it wasn't the best plan. I had been living in a van in the United States for a year, traveling around the US before I moved here.
Okay.
And the van had no AC. I mean, it had AC in the front cab,
Yeah.
but no AC in the back and no heat. And I got really hot. And I'm a person who runs cold. This is a really long explanation and weird.
No, it's
But
fine.
I was so hot all the time in the van for the year, and I hated it.
Mm-hmm.
So looking at the temperatures in Portugal, I didn't want to be anywhere where it was super hot.
Okay. So central and north.
Yeah.
So how have you found it? Because you're rolling your eyes. There has to be a backstory behind that. Has it been rough kind of adjusting with the way that houses deal with the climate, or is it just the climate itself?
Both.
Yeah.
I'm from California. It's cold.
Mm.
It's really, really cold for me here. I have no heat or AC in my house, in my apartment. So if I had to do it all over again, I'd probably look at Stubble.
Okay. And so why don't you move?
Because I have a great apartment for a really great price.
Okay.
And
which is hard to find.
It's hard to find. And
Yes.
I have a huge community here now. And I'm solo, I'm alone. So a community is really important. And I don't really want to start over with the whole visa in the air situation. So yeah, for now, I just signed a 5-year lease a year ago. And I've looked around to try to buy, and there's issues with that, as you know.
Yes.
So I just feel like for now, I need to stay here.
Okay. Where is here?
In Porto.
You're in Porto.
I'm in Porto. Yeah.
Okay. And so you had the option of Braga, Coimbra, Porto. Why Porto?
Because it's where they got apartment. I found the apartment. It was
so you had looked at apartments in the 3 different cities. No. Okay.
No.
Tell us
I
this.
landed in Lisbon. I was there for a few weeks. I had an acquaintance that said, "Hey, there's an apartment available in Porto and it's being refurbished. Are you interested?" I said, "Yes." The landlady said, "You have to be here tomorrow." I hopped on a train or a bus, I don't even remember, with my old sick dog. And I showed up here and I walked through and it looked like a murder scene. It was just disgusting. It was torn down to the studs with this like shining wallpaper, from The Shining. It was horrifying. and I'm not a visual person, so I had no idea what it was going to look like. I couldn't even tell, but I just trusted. And it was exactly what I had wanted in my head. 3-bedroom, 2-bath. That's what I wanted. So coming from a van, I wanted something a little bigger, I guess. So I said after the walkthrough, "When do I have to tell you?" And she said, "Right now. You have to give me your answer right now because we've got a waiting list already." And I said, "Well, will you accept me?" And she said, "Because of your cute dog, I say yes." So
wow.
Yeah.
Okay. And that was 2022.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. So as a part of your visa, did you not at the time need a housing did you do Airbnb? How did you get around that?
I had a tour.
Okay. Very cool. How did you find out about that, like that hack? Which I don't know if that would work in 2025, but
yeah,
I'm curious to know how it worked in 2022.
Yeah, there was a guy that I was talking to, and he was starting a new business here in Portugal, and he was offering tours.
Okay.
And so I was like his first client. It didn't go well. And so after, it's a long story, but there were some ups and downs, we'll just say. And at the end, and there was some miscommunication. And at the end, I had an apartment in Cascais, supposedly. And 3 weeks before I left, the rug was pulled from under me and I had no place to live.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when you arrived in Portugal, then what did you do? So you flew into Lisbon?
Mm-hmm.
And did you get a hotel, Airbnb? Okay.
Airbnb, and it was great. I shared a room in a house with this guy that had 2 adorable cats that he had rescued from the trash.
How did the dog and the cat get along?
Not well.
Okay. Okay. Oh, so tell me about Expat on a Budget. Is it something that you started before you moved to Portugal, or kind of came out of your move to Portugal?
Yeah, it came out of my move to Portugal because I was living on a budget in the van. So my whole idea was I had a passive income of about 2,000 a month.
Okay.
And it's what drove me to leave. I was an acupuncturist in Marin County, right near San Francisco. And I was doing really well, but I was not happy. So I was not happy with my job as an acupuncturist. And when COVID happened and all sorts of stuff, and I realized that I could live on less and I could live on my passive income. And that's when I moved into the van. And moving into the van I was only doing it for a year to then get enough time to make my move to Portugal with all the paperwork and all that. So I already had these plans in place. And my idea was to live in Portugal on 2,000 a month. Ha ha,
Okay.
ha 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 ha. Not possible in Porto in 2025, I will say that. But in 2022, it was better. My rent would be half my income, so that's, you never want to do that. But yeah, so that's what happened. And then after I was living here, I started writing on Substack. And I thought, well, what am I doing? I've reinvented myself a lot of times. I've had a lot of different businesses. I've always been an entrepreneur. And I just thought, well, what am I about? Like, what is the down to the nitty gritty part of it? And I'm, an expat on a budget. So that's how it was born. And I tried a lot of different titles, abroad on a budget, because people hate the word expat, and all different, living abroad on a budget.
We'll get into that.
Oh, okay.
That hate of the word expat. Okay, so 2,000 a month doing van life, that's possible
Absolutely.
in the U.S. even.
Oh yeah.
So how do you make that work? I'm very curious.
Well, you have to cook all your own food.
Okay, can't go out. Like you have to.
You can't go out.
Yeah. Okay. That's what I would have assumed.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe you could grab a coffee every now and then.
Yeah. But in Marin County, when I last went and visited, avocado bread was $18. So you.
That's crazy.
Awesome. Now it's probably
avocado
23.
toast 18.
Yeah.
And then you have to put tax and tip on it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So living in a van, the gas is the most expensive. Obviously, you don't have rent. I did have a small storage unit. And so if you slow travel and you stay somewhere for 1 month, up to 3 months, and you don't drive as much, you can do it. I did that for the first 6 months, and then I just drove a lot because I wanted to see everything, and I realized my time was coming to an end.
Yeah.
But I didn't pay for camping. I boondocked, which is not paying for camping, not paying for a camping site. It's just parking wherever you can.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm curious, like when you're not driving, as in van life, what do you do with your time?
I was still working.
Okay.
So as I was an acupuncturist, but also I'm a novelist, or writer. I hate to say the word novelist, but I was writing and publishing a book every other month in the whole year in van life.
Okay.
So
that makes more sense. That's a good way to occupy the time.
Yeah,
and I'm sure you get inspired as well by stuff happening around you, and yeah.
And then, sightseeing. Like I did this to sightsee. So I spent like a month in Utah and went to all of the national parks, and I was out almost every day looking at the sights and walking my dog, and there's a lot to do.
Okay. Do you feel like this period of your life, van life was beneficial, like for mental health, physically, or was it just purely a stopgap to get you over to Portugal?
I would say both. I think it
Okay.
was beneficial more for my, it sounds weird, but my internal growth.
Yeah,
I
sure.
learned loneliness for the first time in my life and how to deal with it. And I learned a lot, and it helped so much in moving to Portugal because I didn't have a toilet for a year and my toilet here doesn't flush. So
Same.
properly.
Yeah. You have to get like a bucket of water and okay. So you've moved to Porto and you're a single female. What do you think, if you can kind of conjure up some ideas, what do you think the differences are or the challenges are that a single person faces that maybe a couple doesn't when it comes to moving?
Well, I don't know what challenges a couple would face. So
Sure. I know. I want to see like what challenges you face and I'll compare them to what challenges we face then. Because I
Okay.
think that there are quite a few single people that are looking to move, and they can get some pearls of wisdom from you that maybe they can't get from me because I'm not in their shoes.
So it's a little controversial, what I have to say. And
Okay.
that is that the men in Portugal are not the same as the men in the US.
Okay. Elaborate.
There's a lot more misogyny.
Okay.
And so, just an example, if you're walking down the sidewalk and you're a single woman and there's a man walking next to you or near you, you have to let him go first. You have to demur always to a man.
Interesting.
And
okay.
it's really hard for me. I've learned to do it, and now I do it just naturally because I have in the past not done it and gotten into trouble.
Yeah.
So that is big. That was big for me. And then if you try to date, which I had not a good experience trying to date in Portugal. So I don't do that anymore. So I had, when I guess maybe after my first year here, I went out on, or tried to go out on, I think 15 dates, and I got stood up 15 times.
Okay.
In a row by Portuguese men who just didn't show up. They just didn't bother. Why bother?
Okay.
And maybe they would call like 6-7 hours later, oops, or not at all. And yeah. And then one person that I did end up meeting for coffee then texted me that they were horny the next day. So it was, yeah. And we didn't talk about anything. We just talked about life and my dog and whatever. So it seems that when they, in my experience, I don't want to say this is 100%, obviously.
Sure.
But in my experience, and I'm old, so that's the other weird thing. I'm 59 years old. So these are all men in their 50s and above.
Okay.
And all they wanted was sex.
Okay. So that, I mean, that can obviously make it much more challenging developing relationships at a pace that is normal.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That doesn't
so here's
happen.
what I can comment, at least going back to the walking on the sidewalk thing. I think the same thing happens to me, but I think I don't know if it's a Portuguese thing. It's definitely a Spanish thing, like to get run over on the sidewalk. But for sure, those that are listening, the walking culture here is very different in terms of like how people should pass on the streets. And I don't think that this is a product from people in the city center of Porto or Lisbon, for that matter, being irritated with tourists and just like deciding to, put on their NFL shoulder pads and like barge through a crowd. They just like personal space is different. I can't speak to the misogyny thing, but I can definitely speak to passing people on the streets. I find myself getting run over by men or women, but I'm also quite passive when it comes to passing people. I'll step into the sidewalk. I'll, check and make sure a car is not going to hit me, but I'll step into the sidewalk to let people pass without us bumping shoulders. I got used to doing that when we lived in Spain, because literally I would crash into people or people would crash into me when we lived there. And it was so irritating.
Yeah.
So irritating. Okay. So, I mean, those are some interesting differences for sure. How have you navigated, like at least internally, the misogyny that you feel in society?
Well, I'm a cup half full person. I'm an optimist. So I decided to look at all the positives that I find in Portugal and focus on what I love about living here. And I had to decide that the misogyny it's going to be in a lot of places, right? I've spent a lot of time in Italy and it was there, and I've seen it in Spain. And so yeah, I just had to deal with it. I have a friend who cannot deal with it, and she keeps moving from place to place looking for somewhere where there's no misogyny, but she's still looking.
How many countries has she moved to?
5.
Okay.
But she did find it much less in Nepal and Cambodia.
Okay.
Yeah.
So her channel is called Running from Misogyny?
Yeah.
On YouTube?
Yeah. Running from misogyny. Yeah, I should tell her that. Yeah. She's an introvert though, so.
Okay. So it might be tough. Well, you're just talking to a camera. Okay. So I personally have seen misogyny play out more in Italy and Spain than Portugal. Not saying it doesn't exist here, but I think if there are like levels to the misogyny game, those two are higher. And not to speak ill about any country, there are cultural differences and whatnot. But no, I've seen that. Whereas I guess I haven't seen that so much here in Portugal. But okay, we'll let the Portuguese people comment their opinion in the comment section below. Just keep it respectful. All right. Okay. So some piece of advice that you've told us that you want to give to the audience is about patience and like being persistent, slow and steady. What do you mean by that?
Well, nothing happens fast in Portugal.
It's something that we preach. Yeah.
And I think from the States, I was really used to it happening yesterday. And that's how we're raised. That's what we believe. That's what we know. That's what we preach. Also, yesterday, it happened yesterday. And if it didn't happen yesterday, it's not going to happen. So, the States is it's almost on steroids. It's just everything is so fast. And even the driver's license, which in the US, it took a week or 3 days to get my driver's license. I just got my driver's license here. It took 8.5 months.
I still don't have my physical card.
You don't have yours yet?
No, I've been here 5 years. But I applied for it about 4.5 years ago. I've got a license number. I got an email. Never has the physical card reached me. And there's this weird like internal thing on the IMT website where if you try to reapply for it, it's like a loop. So you can't actually get your query resolved. Anyways, tell me about your experience.
I will send you because ChatGPT talked me through it. Okay. Or maybe it was Gemini. And I got it. I got it after 8.5 months. I just got it. But I sent some pretty strong emails to about 7 different email addresses. And I went back into IMT twice. They were not happy with me. But so you turned in your US driver's license 4 years ago?
Yeah. So we, back in 2000, this was 2021. We did our summer content creation project, and the first stop was down in Faro, and I got an appointment at the IMT, and it was for a specific time slot. I showed up, I went in, I submitted the paperwork. I want to say that I did some biometrics, pretty sure fingerprints, maybe they took my picture. Obviously it was a while ago, but I'm pretty sure those things happened. And they're like, all right, it'll be sent to the address that's on the form. Okay, cool. In the meantime, like before receiving it, we had moved. However, we still had access to that box. Like we knew the property management company. They were the ones that would pick up the mail. I had picked up other things from the property management company after, probably a year after we moved. We were still getting some mail there, and it just never arrived.
But has it arrived since, maybe, to that address?
I think that they would message me if it had. Okay. But we've cut everything off to that address at this point. So, wow. That's wow. My story.
I'm sorry. That is a terrible, terrible story. That is terrible.
You know, it works out perfectly for me because Kaylee's the driver of the family. Okay. So whenever we rent a car, she's the one on the contract, the car rental contract. So it all works out.
Okay.
I'd love to get your step-by-step list on how to recover it.
I will send that.
That would be nice because I think it would be an accomplishment to get that before I get citizenship.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and that's the other thing. So the visa situation, the slow, and just everything here is molasses, and everything here is bureaucracy. And I thought I knew bureaucracy, but I did not. And I thought I could handle bureaucracy, and I've had hair pulling days. I've had breaking down on the couch eating ice cream days. I've had just screaming days. It is really difficult.
Yeah. One of the comparisons we see is between, I guess, or differentiations we see is we don't have firsthand experience in the U.S. with American bureaucracy on the immigration side. However, we've known quite a few people to have to go through it, and they talk about how heavily bureaucratic it is, and it seems that way. So if we're like comparing the two bureaucracies at the immigration level, both of them seem bad, inefficient.
Yeah.
But I think you're also speaking more to the other types of things that have to be done that are, let's say, private sector services that are also heavily bureaucratic, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because we've experienced
everything.
That as well. Yeah.
I mean,
permeates society.
Well, even going to a tea shop to get some tea, and there's one person in front of you, and that person is having a 20-minute conversation with the owner about the weather and their children, and you have to wait. Mm-hmm. You will wait for those 20 minutes, and they will not help you, and they will not even say hello. They will not even acknowledge your presence. And that is something you have to just get used to. You have to wait in line. You have to slow down. You have, calma, right?
So being from the South, I'm quite used to it. So when I rolled in here, I was like, oh yeah, I remember like these little conversations the cashier would have with, like growing up, I would see it all the time. You'd be at the grocery checkout line and, two ladies or two guys would just like be chatting about the UT football game or the, whatever it is. And it's like, all right, got somewhere to be, but I guess you guys finish your combo.
Yep.
Okay. So you preach patience, slow and steady, for people to keep their sanity. And as a warning, right? Many people are moving here wanting a slower paced life. So it's like, that's in everything. So, okay. Yeah. Talk to me a little more then about Expat on a Budget in terms of the stuff that you're writing about. Why did you choose Expat on a Budget? Is it just something that you embody, or is it that you enjoy talking about how to live on a budget?
Yeah, well, it's more that I embody it.
Yeah.
I think that even if I had more money, which I don't, I would try to limit my budget. But I learned a lot because I was making quite a bit of money in the US, quite a bit, and more money than I've ever made in my life, and in acupuncture and in publishing both. And I started spending all of the money. So it's either there's lifestyle inflation is a thing. So the more you make, the more you spend, and you keep making more and you keep spending more. And it got to the point where I was spending almost everything I was making. One year I was so proud of myself. I saved $30,000. I was like, yes, I saved $30,000. And my accountant was like, that's awesome, because that's what you owe to the IRS. So, yeah. So it was really hard for me to stay afloat. And I think that losing everything, on purpose, it wasn't like I lost it, I chose to lose it, has really helped me figure out what's important in life, and moving and minimizing and getting rid of everything I owned and not being able to bring anything here. I had 2 suitcases, that was it. Really helped me prioritize things. And so I've learned that money is not, and things are not important. And now I do like to be transparent and say I'm living on about $3,500 a month here in Porto, which is doable. However, I can't save. I'm not able to save to travel, so I don't travel very much. So now my new thing is car camping. Why not? I'm going to do car camping because I have a car. So yeah,
Okay.
so I'm very excited about that. So I started writing on Substack. I was writing personal stuff, and I was writing on Vella for a while, and just little anecdotes. And then people were interested in more about the journey. And so I started writing about the journey and how I got here and what it took. And then people were more interested in like kind of the nitty gritty stuff. So I just started breaking it down. And I also respond to if somebody says, I want to hear about this, I'll talk about that. So it was also curated by the audience a little bit.
Okay, nice. Yeah, I mean, your Substack follower base is really impressive.
Thank you.
I mean, you publish a lot. You've got, is it 64? Or am I mixing up numbers? Am I being dyslexic here? 6,400?
4,500.
4,500. Maybe I was thinking 46, 64. I was flipping the numbers in my brain.
But it's interesting.
Over 1,000 to me is like, that's a lot of people. That's a lot of eyes.
Well, I think so too. And it's interesting because I started from zero. Like I didn't have my author list. I have, 7,000, 8,000 subscribers to my author list. And I didn't import people to Substack. You know what I mean? Sure. I started because my author is a pen name. And so I started, nobody knew. It's not connected. So nobody knew. Yep. So I started from zero in this whole new arena that was new to me. I didn't know what I was doing. And what happened was, when was it? 2024, the presidency. That's when my Substack really blew up.
Okay. Yeah. Like more people looking to move, more people interested in like more peak Portugal interest. Okay. Yeah. So going back into the budget and the finances, you live in Porto, which is one of the more expensive cities in the country. Do you mind sharing how much you pay for rent?
I don't mind because I'm really excited. So when I first moved here, I paid $950.
Okay.
And now I pay $970.
Okay, so it went up marginally. Yeah. Okay, that's good.
Nothing.
And you have a 5-year contract, so you're
I have a 5-year contract, and I have a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, and I'm next. I'm really in Antes, so where. So I'm 15-minute walk from Estadio de Dragão, but I'm where I haven't been to a game yet, which is crazy. But I'm Praça Velasquez.
Yeah, love it.
So so I'm right there. So
really nice neighborhood, really good area. Yeah, ample green space. You've got cafes and a couple restaurants, banks. Like all the banks are there in Velasquez. You've got Pingados grocery store. Cool. Yep. Very cool.
Yeah.
Okay. So you pay a little under 1,000. And how much do you spend on groceries?
Well, I don't spend very much on groceries. I'm vegan, so that does help. Which was funny because, and I know for a fact that it helps because when I was cooking my dog's food, which I did for a while, so I ended up adopting a Portuguese rescue dog. Okay. I mean, she's Portuguese because she's from Portugal, but she's not like a Portuguese water dog or anything. She's a mutt. But for a while, she has some stomach issues. And so I thought, well, I'm going to buy all of her food at the butcher's and I'm going to make it, which was really hard for me and really gross for me.
Okay.
But I did it for a couple months and I realized that meat was it's not as expensive as it is in the US at all, but it was
Yeah.
more expensive. So
Okay.
I like to say about $500 a month on food. And that includes, and it used to be 400, but now it's about $500. That includes eating out and ordering. Sometimes I order.
Okay. So that's dining, that's eating in and out. Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's reasonable for sure. How about health insurance? Do you have private or are you on
Yeah.
just on public? You have
I
private?
have private, 130 a month for Medish. And
That's
this
great.
is interesting. It's great. This is interesting because I was about to switch to MGen, and I talked to a person that helps with switching.
Mhm.
I don't know what they're called, but whatever, an
broker?
insurance broker. Yeah.
Yeah.
And we went over everything between my plan and MGen. And she was like, no, your plan is much better and less expensive.
Okay. Well, there you go.
Yeah.
Okay, nice. Yeah, we pay around 130. I think it's actually like 150 for the three of us.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. But I mean, I don't know what our coverage is compared to your coverage. And
But you guys are also
we're
much younger.
Yeah, we're younger.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that will help. And then we pay a supplemental like a little under 30 for life insurance.
Yeah.
So yeah. Okay, cool. So what else we have? Utilities. How much are utilities?
Well, when I was on Iberdrola, it was a lot less,
Mhm.
but Iberdrola did me wrong, so I'm now back to EDP.
Okay.
So I just got my bill and I was not happy. It was like 60, I think, maybe. Yeah, I mean, in the summer, because I don't have AC, it can run between 30 and 50. I mean, it's hard because I had Iberdrola for like 2 years. So it was like 30 a month in the summer. And then in the winter, I run 2 electric heaters, but they're the ones that are the oil heaters. And they're not that expensive. So it tops at 100 probably.
Okay. So to give people a contrast, we live in a 2-bedroom apartment that is, it's very efficient. However, we do have AC. And during the summer months, it runs between 100 to 120. So, like there's much more electricity consumption on our side during the summer. And then in the winter, maybe 60 to 75.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's like the opposite of me. Yeah.
Yeah. We rarely have to run we've only spent one winter here, but we rarely have to run the heat, just because the place is so efficient. So
Nice.
that's nice. I know.
And
I know.
Where are you now?
It's a new build. So it's a new construction that was finished in 24.
Okay.
End of 2023, 24, I think.
But in Porto?
Yeah, in Porto.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Yeah, we've done a video like touring our home. So I think we've kind of explained some of the features to our audience. And if people haven't seen that, then we can link that video for people to check it out. But yeah, I mean, the differences in terms of heat efficiency between the good ones and the bad ones, it doesn't sound like yours is a bad one though, because we've had friends who have paid $400 a month during winter and they're still cold, which is insane.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, she did double. I do have the double pane windows that she installed.
That's good.
But the problem is I'm from California, so I'm cold all the time. So this is the heater. I'll have one heater going in the office, one heater in the living room, and that's it.
Okay.
And then I'm wearing a wool undershirt. I'm wearing a wool sweater. I'm wearing a scarf. I'm oftentimes wearing a hat and gloves, and sometimes a parka inside. So
yeah, so it doesn't sound like it's very heat efficient. Sounds like you could step outside and be warmer. Yeah, which is something that's not uncommon here. We lived the second place we lived in, and it was a short-term solution whenever we had a flood, like a ceiling leak in the first place we lived in. We experienced this phenomenon that people kept telling us about, where you could literally be warmer outside than inside. And we experienced it, and it was pretty insane because we'd be cold inside in the mornings, and then we'd like be super bundled up to go outside, and we'd get outside and we're hot. we're like,
Yep.
okay, we got to, take layers off and then go do our thing during the winter. Craziness.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So back to the budget. We've covered insurance, food. What are some social costs like hanging out with friends, or you drink? Do you go out and do that? No. So what are some of the social costs that you have? Going to concerts? What do you do?
Yeah, I guess my budget is maybe expat on a budget is because I'm vegan and sober. I don't know.
Fair.
That's pretty funny. I go out to dinner with friends.
Okay.
So that's
Yeah.
usually what I do. I go for walks in the park. I do a lot of that. I tried that candlelit concert, but I got stuck in traffic. It didn't make it. But I did pay for it, but it was cheap. So yeah, I don't do a lot. I really want to go to, I'm a circus fanatic.
Okay.
I will say I'm a circus fanatic. So I do want to go to Cirque du Soleil in Lisbon when they're going to be there in February.
Okay.
So I'll do things like that. I have friends that like to go out dancing. I love to dance, but I don't like loud music and loud noises. So I don't do that. I do have a personal trainer. So I do pay for that. And because I have severe osteoporosis, being the age that I am, and whatever other reason. And so I have to do a lot of weightlifting. So I have a whole weight set here in my house over here in this corner. And I do weightlifting twice a week. And then I go to circus because, again, I'm a circus fanatic. And so I do trapeze. And I've been doing that in the US. I did that for over 10 years and then took 4 years off, and I've gone back to it here. So I do spend money on that. So I have a great teacher here and I go every week. And yeah, with friends, we mostly go out to dinner, and we went to an escape room. That was fun.
Nice. 15 euro a person, 10 euro, 15.
Yeah.
Round about that. Okay.
Yeah.
What is it like having a personal trainer? Like how much is that expense, and how often you get to see them? And
amazing. So I see her, she lives in Gaia, but she comes over to my house once a month. And then the rest of the time we do it on Zoom or whatever.
Yep.
And she's $25 for
a session. Okay. Nice.
Yeah.
And do you do the sessions weekly, or is that the twice a week lifting?
Twice a week.
You do? Okay.
Yep.
So 8 to 10 times a month, I guess. And then once she's in person, correcting form and that type of thing.
Exactly.
Because it's easier if you're in the same room. Like there's only so much you can see in 2D while, she's watching on the webcam versus being in the room and being able to like touch different parts of your body as you're lifting. Yeah.
Absolutely,
I totally get that. Very cool. Okay. So that kind of covers the bulk of the expenses, right?
Doggy goes to daycare.
Okay. That could be a big expense.
Doggy's in daycare 5 days a week.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where does he go?
She goes to it's really in Campagna. It's like really, it's called Patadouro. And it's an amazing daycare. I have a lot of friends now that use it. It's just phenomenal. And she gets to run outside in a big field with other dogs. And the thing is, she's a herding breed, she's a mutt, but she's part herding breed. And she has a ton of energy. And I don't have
space.
Yeah, I don't have the time or the patience for it. And I can't deny her. That's not right. So, yeah.
And this is the Portuguese dog you rescued?
Yes.
Okay. Cool.
Yes.
Awesome. So how much does that cost?
So it's $190 a month.
Okay, $190 a month. That's about half of the private fees that we pay for Valencia, private school fees. So to give the listener an indication of how much little ones and little furry ones can cost for daycare.
Yeah, and I do equate it also to the U.S. when a half a day doggy daycare in the U.S. is $65 for half a day.
Wow. And private walkers, how much do they cost?
That I don't know. I did have a private walker once for my other dog. Yeah, she was pretty reasonable. I can't remember, 25 maybe.
Okay. Very interesting. Okay. So, the different costs people can have are very much lifestyle based, like you said.
Right.
I think one of our biggest kind of elected costs is FC Porto. And not only that, like we have one of the higher ticket categories. So we have season tickets and we have one of the higher ticket categories. So it's like we're paying a premium on top of kind of a lifestyle premium anyways.
Wow.
I want to say that probably works out to be anywhere between 100 and 200 a month, depending on how many matches there are, in a month. So, but we share this stuff on our annual, like, cost of living video that we do. I don't know if you saw any of those videos before you moved.
Yeah, I did.
Okay. Do you think it helps set a realistic idea?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay. I want to ask you, because the time period that you moved, the currency, like the exchange rate, was a little different. And now we've seen a swing. We went through a period in 2023, 2024 where it was getting close to, or I got on par at one point, but it was close to parity. Now we're looking at $1 is worth 85 euro cents.
Yep.
How has that impacted you financially?
It's hurt. It's hurt a lot. And I'm also working for International Living as a freelancer, and they pay in dollars. Mm-hmm. And they deposit it into my account here in euros. And I'm like, but it's really painful. It's huge. It's hurt a lot, for sure. It's definitely increased my cost of living here.
By the same amount that the currency's shifted, you think?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I keep saying about 30%.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's not an accurate number, is it?
Yeah, I mean, the fluctuation's been about 10 to 12% worse off from where it was like in 2024.
Yeah, I think
when it was at
with
its
inflation here and everything, the just the increases in everything here, my expenses have risen, I would say about maybe 25-30%.
Okay. What Expats Everywhere, we believe that living abroad transforms lives. How has living abroad transformed your life?
Wow, it's made me a better person, I think. It's made me more understanding of different cultures. There are so many things that have happened that I didn't expect. I just thought that every day was going to be an adventure, and that's what I was looking for. And it was that for a while. But now that I've settled more, I'm more interested in learning more about the culture, the language journey, what is going on there. So challenges. Yeah. And I have learned to embrace the calma and tranquila, I think, more than I thought I would, and looking at life more in a more balanced way. So instead of working, I always get it wrong, but instead of working to live, I'm living to work. I think that's right.
Okay.
Is that right? I don't know. I get it wrong. But instead of the bad one, it's the good one now. Where I was just in the US, I was just hamster wheel, go, work yesterday, get it done, drive. And here I don't, even if I'm working all day, I just feel, usually without the visa situation happening, I usually feel a lot calmer and happier.
Nice. When you say the visa situation, you mean the residence permit?
Yes, the residence permit.
Okay. The renewal. Yeah. You're going through your renewal right now. Okay, got it.
Yeah. And then, I know I always get it wrong. I always say the wrong thing.
And no, it's okay. It's okay.
And I get corrected. I'm like, sorry. But the other thing that I found here, and I don't know if it would be this way if I moved anywhere else, but I suspect it would be, is the community. So all of the community that I had in Marin County, I had hundreds of friends, and I thought they were my besties. And I left, and I haven't heard from any of them. So
Mm.
And that was really hard, really, really hard. And here I have this like real community where people actually check in and see how I am and invite me out. I never had that in the US. People never asked me to do things. I would ask them, and then I would drive an hour each way. But here people ask me, and I shouldn't say not anybody. Sure, there were definitely a few people, but here it's like everybody's interested in hanging out. And my Portuguese friends, they make an effort. Like one of them's coming over today. You know, it's just there's always something to do. There's always someone to see. There's so much going on that I did not have in the US. Nice.
So taking in the bad and the good outweighs the bad. So you're happy.
Oh, absolutely.
Awesome. That's awesome. Thanks for sharing. We're going to put your Substack in the description section. So if people want to check that out. And Kimberly Anne, thank you so much for spending time with Expats Everywhere. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Josh. I appreciate it. Have a good day.
You too. Bye.
Bye.